The Spurs continue their preseason schedule with a date against the Miami Heat. And let's check out some Locked On Spurs fan comments.
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hey, welcome back to Locked On Spurs, right here on the Locked On NBA Network. I'm your host, Jeff Garcia, Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. Glad to have y'all back. Hope y'all having a great Tuesday. And we'll catch you up on all things silver and black. And subscribe wherever you get your favorite podcast, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, Ken's 5 Plus app. You know where to go. Find us. We are there. So what are we talking about today? We're going to be looking at tonight's Spurs preseason matchup against the Heat. What are some things that are standing out so far through preseason games that they're already finished? Who is standing out? What is standing out? Any surprise players? We're going to look at tonight's game and so much more. And then get into your comments. Locked On Spurs fans, you are a part of this show, and we're going to highlight some of your comments. Our guest today will be Joe Garcia. He's back, everybody, after a little bit of a hiatus. But we're going to get his thoughts on tonight's game and so much more, including what did he get at the Big Texas Comic-Con? Yeah, he might want to show that off. He got some cool stuff. I was so busy, I didn't realize that there was so much cool stuff that Joe got it. So, but he showed it to me. You're going to see it in just a few seconds. Hey, today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Yeah, so the Spurs take on the Heat today. Preseason game number 4. Yeah, preseason's almost over, huh? And the regular season is right around the corner. But, we're looking at things where the Spurs can improve upon heading into regular season game 1. There's so many names to be thrown out. Riley Minix, is he making a case? What about Mamu? What's he doing? What about the team together? So far, so good. They're 2-1 in preseason play. But again, it's just preseason play. You don't want to put too much stock into it. But we'll see what is happening tonight versus the Heat. Let's go to bring in our guest, Joe Garcia. Here he is. 2 Shots Podcast. Follow him on X at Area 210 Podcast. Again, Joe, you know that alien still wants to abduct you, right? He's right above you.
Yeah, you always say 2 shots, but it's like 2 shots is no more. Now we are known as Area 210.
You know why, Joe? You've been doing that for so long. It's like hard. It's like when you change the calendar, you go from 2024 to 25. It takes a while before you get to the 2025. But yeah, Area 210 Podcast. That is the new Joe Garcia show. I was on it for show number 1. It was fun. We did it at Joe's house too, which was great to hang out with Joe at his pad. But Joe, how you doing?
Doing good, man. Still coming off of that high from the Big Texas Comic-Con. So shout out to, all the organizers and people that were involved with that, including yourself. Did a great job.
Yeah. I'm still coming off it, man. It was surreal, Joe. There was one point I was having lunch, and around me was, Sophia Boutella across from me. Then another across from me was Charlie Hunnam from Sons of Anarchy. Behind me was Elijah Wood. Then behind me, the other side was Sean Austin. And I remember talking to somebody else there, one of the voice actors that I got real close with. And we all were talking. And I told her, I go, this is surreal, right? And she was like, this is weird. This is weird. Then you had Ron Perlman, the original Hellboy, on the couch, like to my left. It was just bizarre, but it was a great turnout. Thank you, everybody who went. And Joe Garcia, I got to chat with him quickly. He showed off his merch. But we'll talk about that in just a few minutes. Joe, how are things going on your end, though?
Going good, man. I mean, the network is doing great. The Alamo City Podcast Network, Alamo City Sportscast. We do that every day. That's going great. We're still getting a lot of engagement there with our fan base. And Area 210 is doing great, too, as far as the engagement that we're getting. So all around, man, we're just trucking along here, having a great time interacting with the fan base.
Good stuff. Again, follow him on X at Area 210 Podcast. Yeah, I got it right this time. Area 210 Podcast. And for all things pop culture, sports, so much more, you want to go to Joe, Area 210 Podcast on X. All right, Joe, let's go ahead and get into it here. Spurs take on the Heat. Another preseason game they got to get through. But they're heading into tonight's game 2-1. They're coming off a win at home versus the Jazz. Again, preseason win. There was no Wemby. There was several guys out. But nevertheless, they look pretty strong. Heading into tonight's contest versus the Heat, what do you want to see this Spurs team continue to do as far as a tune-up before the regular season starts?
No, just continue to play better. Basically that's it. Play better, be more consistent. Don't make a lot of mistakes. Don't turn the
Hmm.
ball over for one, and get better on the defensive end. I've seen that they've
Yeah.
made a strong effort in trying to get better defensively, and I'd like to go ahead and see more out of Stephon Castle. Man, kid's looking like the
Oh
truth.
yeah. Can you believe he got through three preseason games? He's averaging 11 points per game, and he's shooting about 53% from the field and 43% from the three line. So maybe, just maybe, he's telling those doubters about his outside shot. Move on, move on. I got this. I got this. Yeah. So far, he's been a pleasant surprise. Seriously, I had a chance to talk to Mamu after preseason game number one, and he told me that one thing he likes about Castle is that he plays at his own pace. He even said that Castle is far ahead as far as his NBA development as a rookie than Mamu was. Mamu said, he goes, I was just running around and I didn't know what to do. So he says Castle's way past him. You know, Joe, another guy that's standing out for me so far, and I think it's his position to lose, is Julian Champagnie. You know, kind of erratic shooting last year, was kind of up and down, up and down. But so far in the preseason, he's averaging 16 points per game and shooting 48% from the three line. Joe, opening night, that position that Vassell is going to be absent from, the forward spot, it's his, right? It's that shooting guard, excuse me. It's his, right? It's his to lose. He's going to be starting, right?
You would think it would be, but
Hmm.
Coach Pop. I don't know. It's going to be up to Coach Pop if he wants to go ahead and start him or not. But the kid's making a strong case for himself here in preseason. You can't
Hmm.
discount what he's doing out there on the courts, playing hard, shooting the ball great. Spurs fans, I know there's a faction of them that are like, oh man, they're all in for Champagnie, but there was a
Yeah.
lot of them that were discounting this kid last season. You just got to go ahead and believe in this, in the development of Champagnie. You look at what he's been doing. You got to at least acknowledge the growth. You've seen that he's actually been working really hard on his game. I think
Hmm.
you're making a strong case, Jeff. No doubt that, Coach Pop is going to have a tough decision. Are you going to be forced to start him? I think Coach Pop is seriously probably considering that.
Yeah. And look, another thing I like about tonight's game is the Heat is the first game on the road, especially for the rookie like Castle and Ingram. If he does get play minutes, we'll talk about him in a bit. I want to see how these rookies, especially Castle, how they adapt to playing on the road. They had home cooking, that's some home comforts, but now they're gonna get a taste of what it's like to be on the road. We'll see how Castle responds to that. I think he will respond wonderfully. I mean, just the way he looks so poised out there, be able to cross up guys, going in for easy dunks, posterizing guys, playing solid defense. I mean, look at some of the defensive numbers here. He's averaging let me see, I got it here. Give me 2 seconds. He's averaging nearly a steal a game. He's averaging nearly 2 rebounds per game. No, are there things he needs to clean up? Sure. He's averaging 3 turnovers a game. That's got to fix up. But again, this is just preseason. He's getting his feet wet. I'm okay to let that slide as long as he just cleans it up early in the regular season. Joe, what do you think about Riley Minix? He's making a strong case to either stick on the roster or at least stick in Austin.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's only so many minutes to go around. Spurs have to go ahead and whittle some things down. And I saw before coming out on this show, they already made a roster spot, uh,
Yeah.
you know, room on the roster spot, should I say, by cutting one of their players. I don't want to say because I don't know. You're going to wait to mention that in another show, but that news broke
No,
too.
no, no. It's Nathan Mensah.
Yeah, I didn't want to say because I didn't know if you wanted to say it now or wait till
No,
the
no.
next show.
You're good.
But
You're
they
good.
went ahead and cut him, and you look at Minix and he's making a strong case as well, been playing great in the preseason. Spurs fans have noticed they like the kid, they want to keep him on here. But if
Mhm.
it doesn't work out for him, Spurs decide to go ahead and keep the roster spots open for the people that they already got, and he goes to the G League. That might not
Mhm.
be a bad thing because again, I mean, being in the G League just means that you're going to be there developing your game, and if something happens, injury, you're going to rest players. He can get called up
Mhm.
and come in and play a game or two, and showcase what he has, and you can see the growth. And if Coach Pops likes what he sees out there in the coaching staff, he can still come in and maybe garner some minutes there. So if he doesn't
Sure.
make the squad, all is not lost. He can still go to the G League, and still vie for a roster spot here and there in between injury or rest for players.
Hey, I want to talk to you about Game Time. Go to gametime.co right now. Game Time is a new feature called Game Time Picks. Makes getting tickets easier for your favorite live events that much better. Game Time filters out the fluff, so you only get incredible deals on great seats. You don't have to waste time searching through thousands and thousands of tickets. Hey, Game Time has it all. They have the super deal. They got seats view before you buy. They got curated deals to make it easier to find the best price on great seats, the lowest price guarantee, event cancellation protection, job loss protection. You will be pleasantly surprised with this app. Go get it right now. Game Time Picks, again, that's a curation that makes it easier to save more on sports, concerts, comedy, theater. Hey, they have the lowest price guarantee, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Game Time ticket coverage, your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It is game time. Hey, I want to talk to you about Mudslingers Drive-Thru Coffee. Go there right now. San Antonio, 2404 Thousand Oaks Drive. Open every single day from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. They have it all. Great menu, cold drinks, hot drinks, coffee, the signature drink, Mudslinger, iced lattes. Pick something you're craving. They'll have it. Check out the menu. We're a proud local sponsor of Locked On Spurs and a proud community member serving San Antonio the best coffee in the city. Go there right now. Open every single day from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. They have the Lightning Bolt series, which includes the Alien, which is a drink made in honor of Victor Wembanyama. You got to try it. Speaking of which, hey, they have these drinks, like I was mentioned right now, the Lightning Bolt series. They're going to be containing Lotus Energy. That's 7 power plant extracts. That gives them flexibility to create new drinks. But if you want Red Bull, you just tell them and they'll put it in there. But the default will be Lotus Energy. Go there right now, 2404 Thousand Oaks Drive. They even got mini donuts. Best spot in the city to get yourself some coffee. Go there right now. San Antonio, follow them on social media at Mudslinger SATX. Go there right now because life is too short for bland coffee.
This is Emilio Rivera, El Padrino for the Mayans MC. You are listening to Locked On Spurs with Jeff Garcia.
Yeah, the Spurs lack perimeter shooting. Minix has that. 57% shooting from the 3 line and 67% from the field overall. The guy can knock it down. Funny story, in preseason game number 2, I was sitting on press row and I'm talking to a friend of the show, AP sports writer Raul Dominguez. Minix comes in, right? He's checking in. He's at the scorer's table. And Raul turns to me. He goes, watch. First play, first possession, Minix is going to knock down a 3. And sure enough, it happened. That's how confident not only was press row in Minix, but just in himself, that being Minix, the team. He's making a strong case. And simply because he's a floor spreader, the Spurs need that. You know, I would like to also see tonight versus Miami, Wemby to get another game. So far, he's only played 1 preseason game.
Yeah.
I get it. He's your franchise guy. You don't want to risk anything stupid like he gets hurt or anything. But he needs to also shake off the rust. You know, he played in Paris. He had some time off away from the court. Only 1 game under his belt. Joe, I think it's time to start really kind of putting him out there little by little already, right?
I think it is. You know, you got to go ahead and see what you got. And this is, I think, the Spurs' last preseason game that they're going to be playing against the Miami Heat coming up here. You know, so we're going to have to tell the fans not only, you know, kind of preview that game there, but also let them know where they're going to be able to see the last preseason game of the season. But I'm all for it, man. I think they need to go ahead and have Wemby out there. We need to see a little bit more of the alien and see his growth, you know, and put that extra muscle that he's added on to good use, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've been to already a couple of preseason games, and he definitely looks a lot thicker and bigger. You know, still skinny, but hey, it's a big improvement from his rookie season. Yeah, again, just 1 game for Wemby. So I just want him out there to continue to shake off the rust. He openly admitted it after that first game he played, saying like, yeah, he's a little bit rusty. Get him going. Another 2, I want him to develop more chemistry with CP3. That looks like that could be a winning combo there. So get some Chris Paul's number in the preseason. He's played 2 games so far, and for your Spurs, you know, he's doing it. He's that floor general. You saw him leading the team on the bench. You saw him leading the team on the court, you know, reacting, you know, with the young guys when Castle posterized a Jazz player. He's been so far in the preseason exactly what the Spurs needed at the point guard position, hasn't he, Joe?
Yeah, man. The thing with CP3 though is that you got to look at his age, but just the player alone and seeing what he's done there in the preseason, he's made this team better. You can
Yeah.
see that the offense runs a lot smoother when he's out there on the
Mhm.
court. He's kind of calling things out, talking with players, being a floor general out there, coaching, and Coach Pop just kind of lets him do his thing because even when he's not in the game, he's pulling players aside and talking to them, telling them where to be, where to get in
Yeah.
position. You like all that, and I think he's had a instant impact on this team in a good way. Both him and Harrison Barnes. But I like what I'm seeing out of CP3 so far. I just want him to stay healthy, and I do like the lob. I want to see that lob city, here in San Antonio between him and Wemby.
Oh yeah, yeah. We already saw it one time already. We got that lob dunk already happened. We want to see more. He's average Chris Paul nearly 6 assists per game in the preseason. Granted, it's just 2 games he played, but you like that because they need his veteran leadership and to facilitate, and he's doing that too. And just averaging 1 turnover. So that assist to turnover ratio is sky high. You got to love it. Sure, he's not putting up major points, and he doesn't have to
Yeah.
because you got other weapons on there. When Vassell comes back, there's another offensive weapon. You have Keldon, who's been shining so far in the preseason. Wemby's going to be Wemby. So, and as of right now, Champagnie's knocking down shots. So, yeah, he doesn't need to do that. He just needs to be that steady force on the court. And he
Give the
even told
ball to the
me,
open man.
yeah, get the ball open, man. And Chris Paul recently told me that, hey, he's like, I just want to bring a sense of calmness to this team. And he's definitely doing that. Hey, we got to talk about Keldon Johnson. Quietly having a good preseason. 2 games so far under his belt. He's averaging 14 points per game in 23 minutes. Just 1 turnover a game so far. And he's averaging nearly 2 assists per game and nearly 4 rebounds per game. It looks like the big body now, the slim body, that slim physique is helping him be a lot more, fluid in transition. He's not carrying a lot of weight anymore. I think it's going to help him really open up his game, being a little slimmer. Joe, your thoughts?
I think so, but one of the gaping holes that I have in Keldon Johnson's game is he needs to make better decisions with the ball. It still seems
Okay.
that he kind of reverts back at times to making poor decisions, turns into a turnover, going the other way for an easy bucket. Gets that tunnel vision, not as much as he used to, but you can still see it's there. He still has some of these tendencies that he needs to work on. Overall, I do like his game though. Keldon Johnson has been one of my favorite players to watch out there on the court, looking to see what he can do with the new trimmed down physique, and how's that going to help him in an 82 game season. It's going to help his body stay healthier. That's going to allow him to be more productive out there on the floor, being able to stay fresher for extended periods of times when the Spurs actually do need him to kind of help with that second unit out there. But so far in preseason, you do like what you're seeing out of Keldon Johnson.
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. And he is the better. He is the longest tenured Spur. He is the old head, even though he's still a kid.
Yeah.
And he's definitely taking that mantle. He's I think Chris Paul is going to help Chris Paul is going to help everybody's game, not just simply the guard positions, everybody. And I think everybody's going to feed off that Keldon Johnson energy. He is looking really, really good. If the Spurs want to trade him, I think they may have to
Yeah.
hold their breath a bit because so far he's playing good. Again, we get. Look, Joe and I, we're not dumb. We get it. It's just preseason matchup. Other teams are not trotting out their A game, their varsity team out there. So you take it with a grain of salt. So, but look, you just want to see mark of improvement, and so far, almost all Spurs have done that. Which leads me to Malachi Branham, Joe.
Yeah.
Malachi Branham has kind of had a iffy preseason. He's
Be
played two
honest,
games.
faded a little.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, just as much as you want to credit the Spurs that are doing well against preseason teams, you also want to ask Malachi, like, okay, well, you're playing against preseason teams that are not at full strength. What's going on here? You should be able to shine a little bit more. But I mean, he's not averaging bad numbers. He's averaging nearly 12 points per game in 2 preseason games played. He's chipping in a steal a game, nearly an assist per game, but the shooting is just, 33% from the field and 25% from the 3 line and 50% from the free throw line. Now, granted, he's only had 1 attempt, so we'll count that one out. But just as far as shooting overall, 33% Joe, that's not going to cut it. Hey, I want to talk to you about FanDuel. You want to go to FanDuel.com right now. Hey, NFL fans, you can start the season with a big return on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. So much when you get a hunch in the middle of a game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, so much more on the same page where you place your bets. You just got to go to FanDuel.com right now. Speaking of FanDuel.com, look, the NBA season is also around the corner. Spurs fans, time to have some fun with your silver and black on the court. The app is very easy to get, very easy to use, user-friendly, very intuitive. Make your picks, 1, 2, 3. Bet on parlays, bet on win spreads, totals. I mean, seriously, you can have so much fun with sports this sports season with FanDuel. Again, America's #1 sports book. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Another reason why you got to go to FanDuel when you place your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Go to FanDuel.com right now, America's #1 sportsbook.
Hey, what's going on? I'm Josh Dela Cruz from Blues, Clues, and You, and you're listening to Locked On Spurs with Jeff Garcia.
No, it's not going to cut it, and it could just be him, needing to get in some type of a rhythm, and
Yeah.
given the minutes that he's playing out there, maybe it's hard for him to kind of get in a rhythm, get in the right headspace to knock down these shots. Maybe he's just battling with himself at this point, because I think the tools are there for him to play better than he is right now as far as him being able to shoot the ball. I just think he just needs to put it all together on the court, and get in that right headspace. Sometimes that's all it boils down to. I still think he's a good young player, but he could be a casualty of not enough minutes to go around, and the Spurs need to trim a roster spot or two. Look at Malachi Branham. He might not be here.
Yeah, I'm not there yet. I'm with you, Joe. I'm not there yet to cast him aside yet.
I'm
It
not,
could be
but
just simply, because he's a terrific 3-level scoring threat. We know he can hit it from 3. We know he can hit it from the mid range. We know he can knock down his free throws. We've seen it, but the consistency, that's the big thing with him. Can he sustain that? I'm not asking him. Look, Spurs fans are asking him to do it every single game. Realistically, every NBA player has their ups and downs, but you want to have more ups than downs. And so far, it's been down shooting wise. Again, he's putting in double figure scoring, but it's just the shooting. And that's where I think he could really shine is if he increases the shooting percentages, because again, the Spurs don't have outside shooters as well outside of Minix as of right now, is where he can come in. So, look, the Spurs still have about 2 more games of preseason games, still more practices ahead. Hopefully Malachi can shake it off. But Joe, Spurs fans are already casting him off the boat, man. They're telling him to walk the plank and jump out. I mean, it's a little too soon for that, huh, Joe?
Nah, it's a little too soon, but you know what? He kind of reminds me of another Spurs player that was a fan favorite that's no longer here with the team, Lonnie Walker, man. Lonnie Walker was a player who had a lot of potential athletic ability off the charts, man, but missed a lot of shots, missed some spectacular dunks, layups, just didn't play consistent basketball. I think Branham could be a casualty of that as well, just not being able to put it together and be consistent every single game out there.
Yeah.
And I think that could actually be his downfall if they're looking to cut somebody in lieu of somebody else being more consistent.
Yeah.
That's what I'm afraid of. I do like the kid though, man. I think he has potential, but again, maybe he's going to be like that Lonnie Walker type of player that we had here on the team, fan favorite, just wasn't very consistent. I mean, he's played better since he's left, but while he was here, he wasn't consistent enough.
Yeah. Overall, though, I do want the team to be more physical tonight versus Miami. That was a common thread that Pop spoke about after preseason games 1 and 2. Maybe not so much 3 in the win versus the Jazz, but Pop has been stressing that physicality. They got to be more physical. So hopefully the Spurs can be physical tonight versus Miami. Again, these games are meaningless. They're just tune-up games to give glorified practices. That's all they really are. But when the real season begins in a few weeks, the Spurs are going to have to be firing all cylinders because they're going to be without Devin Vassell. So there's a big key missing already. Granted, he's not going to be out too long, so yay. But nevertheless, you want to get off on the right foot because the last thing this team needs to do is go down, and I'm making up a number here, 2-4 to start the season, and yeesh, that's not a good sign of things to come. Joe, before we transition to some Locked On Spurs fan comments, what else do you want to see tonight from the Spurs versus the Heat in preseason game?
Well, here's the thing with the Heat. The Heat were a team that was not very good when it came to pacing last season. They've made a change in that. If you looked at their games that they played in preseason, they're actually making a concerted effort to play with more pace. Spurs, I believe they were third in the league last season in pace, which means that they play at a high clip, wanting to get up and down the court, using their young legs and speed and athleticism to their advantage.
Right.
I think this is going to be a fast-paced game. However, if you look at the way things stand and the matchups that these teams have had in preseason, they've met 15 times. And out of those 15 times, Miami has won 9 out of those 6 matchups. I think at this point in time, that the Miami Heat, now that they're getting Hero and Jaime Jaquez back now, because they were both out. They missed, I think, the opening game, the preseason opening game with groin injuries, and they barely came back this past Sunday. They're still shaking off some rust. So I look for the Spurs, actually, and the Vegas odds makers agree with me that the Spurs have a better chance of winning this game against the Miami Heat. Right now, 65% are in favor of the Spurs winning to 35%, based on what I'm seeing right now out of the Vegas odd makers. So 35% of them agree that the Heat will win. 65% of them agree the Spurs will win. As I see it, if they go ahead and play Wemby, they put him in the lineup, CP3, and we actually get to see starting 5 that's actually going to start on opening night, play for a period of time there. I think that could help the Spurs, and the Spurs will be able to go ahead and beat the Miami Heat, because I just think they're used to playing a faster pace of game longer than the Heat, which they're just starting to do in this preseason.
He is Joe Garcia with Area 210 Podcast. Follow him on X. You see it on your screen. And check out his show, Area 210 Podcast, and subscribe to Locked On Spurs, and to discuss what we're talking about today. How do you like the Spurs so far in preseason action? Who's standing out? Who's not? Let us know. You can let Joe know. You see it on your screen. Let me know by going to the Locked On Spurs YouTube page and subscribe to it as well. Joe, let's go ahead and transition and talk about some Locked On Spurs fan comments. And the first one is up from Anthony Ramos, 361. He says, "I've seen enough from the last few games last season and the preseason so far. Mamu has worked himself into the rotation this year." Agree or disagree, Joe?
I think Mamu is going to be one of these fan favorite players. He has great chemistry out there with Wemby, but he's going to be a casualty of the minutes. He's not going to be your second or even maybe your third option. He might be your fourth option at this point. Again, I would love to see more Mamu, because I think he's a better player than Zach Collins, but it's not up to us as the fans. It's up to Coach Pop. And with their playing Zach Collins right now, he is no doubt going to go ahead and be your second option out there. So I think Mamu's just going to be a casualty of the minutes, but I do love me some Mamu.
Yeah, I'm going to push back a little bit. I think he does get some rotation minutes. Why? Because he looks confident from the three-point line. He's shooting the ball very, very well. Again, preseason action, but hey, you take it. He's averaging 56% shooting from the three line. He's taking about 5 of them, and he's making 3 of them. That is pretty good. And he brings that physicality that Pop has been asking for since start of preseason. So I think he does get some minutes. But yeah, he's definitely causing to hear some footsteps as far as taking some minutes from him. All right, the next comment is
footsteps.
What's that?
He said Zach Collins is hearing those Mamu footsteps.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Zach Collins is hearing those Mamu footsteps as well. All right, the next comment is from RMA Superfly. He says, got it right here. He goes, "I know we like shiny new toys, but my goodness, Blake Wesley seems ready to go to the next level this year." Agree or disagree, Joe?
I'm always a Blake Wesley fan, man. I always wanted to see this kid play great. I think he could be ready to go ahead and kick it up another gear, because that's exactly what you want out of your younger players. You want to see them every season get better and play better and put things together and get more consistent. I think this could be his year, man. And hopefully, he'll go ahead and win the hearts of Spurs fans over like he is already,
No, I'm right there with you. I think Wesley looks like he's taking that next step so far in preseason action. Let's look at that real fast here. So he's played 3 preseason games, averaging about 20 minutes per game, and he's averaging about 5 points per game. However, He's keeping his turnovers low. He's valuing the ball at less than 0.7 turnovers per game, and a whopping 5 assists per game. So he's becoming a very good facilitator and shooting 43% from the field. Now his 3-shot is still iffy, 20%, but if he can facilitate, keep turnovers low, and just be somewhat of a floor general and apply that defense, we know he can apply that defensive pressure. Hey, Wesley is definitely going to be looking good as far as taking some minutes in the guard rotation, and he can play point and off guard. So that's another luxury the Spurs have. Yeah, I'm high on Wesley. I think he's going to make a really good showing this year. Hopefully, Joe,
You gonna
because
buy your
technically,
jersey?
Joe, I might have
West
to buy his
jersey?
jersey. I'm just kidding. No, but the only thing about it is that technically he can still be sent to the Austin Spurs. Third-year pros can be still sent. So hopefully that doesn't happen for him. But we'll see what happens with that logjam at the guard spot.
Hey, but if he does get sent to the Austin Spurs, that means that he's going to be more approachable. It might be worth a trip to Austin to see if we get an interview out of him.
Well, he's already done an interview with the Locked On Spurs, and he sounded very, very confident. For those of you that didn't know, go check it out at the YouTube page. You'll see the Blake Wesley interview. But he's confident. And I asked him about that. I said, "Hey, what do you think about this guard rotation? It's pretty stacked." And he just said, "All I can do is just play my game. That's all he can do." And he's absolutely right. That's all he can do at this point. He is Joe Garcia with Area 210 Podcast. Joe, talk to us about what's going on with your show.
Yeah, man, I'm going to go ahead and have a new episode being recorded this week. We're going to go ahead and keep the guest as a secret for now because we're working on several. So I don't know which one I'm going to insert. Might have to record more than one episode this week and kind of stagger them out. But nonetheless, we're working on things behind the scenes to go ahead and bring you some great guests, including getting Jeff back on the show here so we can talk Spurs right before they start the first regular season game. We'll talk about what we've seen here in preseason and kind of preview what we think is going to happen for the upcoming season. And that way we can get Jeff and me on record going in and saying what we think our predictions are going to be for the upcoming season. We'll see how good we fare against the Vegas odd makers. So that's going to be a fun one.
Hey, Joe, before I let you go, a couple of things. One, you are now officially one of the last persons to be on Locked On Spurs with the Nerd Wall. The Nerd Wall is coming down next week.
No,
I'm very hurt by it. But
I got to show my wares then, because this is what I got from the Texas Comic Con.
Well, that was the other thing I was going to ask you to show off what you got. Yeah, you got the Vader
cat.
Oh, that's a good cat. No, that's a good cat. Yeah.
Now this is special, man. I'll show you all this.
Check this out. I know what he's going to bring out.
Yeah, so
I know exactly what he's going to show. Check this out, everybody.
And I'm a people person, so when I go over there to the cons, I'm not just like trying to, shake vendors down or whatever. Like, I got a podcast, give me something free. No, like I'll buy stuff from them.
Yeah,
and I like to showcase what they have. Because I'm always about supporting the little guy. But check out this.
Awesome. Look at that.
Look at that.
It's like a hologram.
You got Timmy, right? And then you turn, and then you get
Manu,
and then you get Tony, all in one hologram. Awesome. And it's like 17.
I saw that booth that was selling that, and I thought of you. I said, "Oh, that's where Joe got it from." It was kind of like in the middle aisle. I remember that. But yeah, Joe, I like your Vader wallet too.
Yeah. And the good thing is going out there and looking at all like this kind of stuff from an engineering standpoint. I know how to make these things now, so I'm like, you know what? I was talking with the vendors and all that, and they were letting me in on some, news, like tips and stuff, how they make these things, and talking with my boy Amir with the holograms, making the holograms. He makes these things by hand, right? Like he actually makes these things. So he was talking with me and he's like, "Hey man," he gave me his contact info. So I'm going to be talking with Amir here, and he's going to be making us some customized holograms that we can be giving away here. But this hologram that I just showed you is going to be used as a giveaway here for an upcoming show that we're doing here on the Alamo City Sportscast, because when you watch it, you get points. And I've turned that on since the beginning. So now everybody who's been watching us from the beginning, they're going to be getting giveaways, because we have giveaway Fridays now where we go and do the spinning wheel and we give stuff away to reward our viewers, so you got to watch to win.
That's right. That's right. You got to go check out Joe on X at Area 210 Podcast. And Joe, once again, thank you for showing support during the Big Texas Con. Joe went to some of my panels. Joe, was it weird to see your boy up there on stage with the freaking Sons of Anarchy and his MC? That was weird. That was surreal.
It was like seeing you in your element, your nerd element there, beyond
Oh
just
yeah,
roast, because we know you're a
Spurs.
big nerd at heart. So it was
Yeah,
fun seeing you out there doing your thing. I was happy for you. That's why I
yeah,
stayed so long. I told you I was going to
yeah. I
go
know
and
you did.
support you. And I
You
stayed
did.
there
You
for like
did.
4 hours at that panel
Yeesh.
room.
Good Lord, yeah, yeah. I saw Joe. I even gave Joe the mic to talk to fans during the thing, and Joe
Yeah.
knew I was going to go up to him. He
Yeah.
said,
I
"I
was like,
knew you
oh,
were going to do it. I
no.
knew you were."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
So
time.
Joe got a little chance to talk to the fans as well at Big Texas Comic Con, and I got this too from
Nice.
GT stuff here. I got
You're
that
going to
as
kick
well. But hey,
something.
I know, right? Yeah, I had to carve out some time for me to at least walk the floor because I was just freaking busy.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, he is Joe Garcia. Again, follow him on X at Area 210 Podcast. Check out his show, Area 210 Podcast, and so much more simply by going to his X page, I should say. And we'll be back tomorrow talking all things silver and black as the Spurs preseason is winding down. We don't know who the guest is. We'll chase one for you, but nevertheless, come back for all things Spurs. And subscribe to Locked On Spurs wherever you get your favorite podcast, iTunes, Spotify, Ken's Fight Plus app. You know where to go. Find us on YouTube, Locked On Spurs. Simple as that. So for Joe Garcia, I am Jeff Garcia. We're going to put a lock on this episode of Locked On Spurs.